Hello students, welcome back into the lecture series. The poem which I am going to discuss today is Thomas Gray's Elegy in the country churchyard. Now Thomas Gray is generally considered the second most important poet of the 18th century. The dominant figure in the 18th century has always been Alexander Pope, while Thomas Gray has been one of the most disappointing because he has creative genius in him, but he has not taken much interest to promote his creativity. He was born in Cornhill on December 26, 1716, and he was the fifth of the 12 children born to Philip and Dorothy Gray, and he was the only one child who survived the infancy. When I say infancy, it means the early childhood period. His all siblings died. Now this left his mother quite disappointed and weak, and so he did not have a very pleasant childhood, so as to say. Now, when I begin with my poem, I would like you to understand that because he was in 18th century, the century of Pope and Samuel Johnson, so the age is the age of reason, the age is the age of questions, science, etc. So now when we begin the poem, the speaker is standing or moving in and around the churchyard after the sun has set and it's dark and it's a bit spooky. Spooky means you're feeling a little, scary. Now the first three stanzas from line 1 to 12, they provide the scene for private and quiet meditations. Private, अपने आप अलग बैठ के, and quiet, self-introspections and self-meditations. He is in search of a rural scene. The scene is beautiful, but life is not blissful. Blissful life is not happy, and Gray reveals that this day has also passed away as usual, and the plowman means जो खेतों च काम करता है, he is tired after the long day and he's coming back. Now the speaker creates here a melancholic, a sad scene by stating that the environment of the churchyard is disturbed. It is disturbed by the tinkling of cattle who are passing by the churchyard, and it is disturbed. The seriousness, the solemnness of it has been disturbed by them and by the beetle, the insect's sound. Now, we have even bat, as you can see in this slide. The bat is also creating noises, and the curfew, what kind of curfew? It is all curfew because there is less movement. So it rings at the end of the day but a knell. Knell means kind of a death. Now it is a parting day actually. Parting day means it is a dying day, and this word sounds like the parting day. The phrase sounds like a metaphor. Now in the next 4 stanzas we can say what is happening. We have another examples like the winding way over the meadows. The lee word used in the line is meadows, and the tired farmer clomps on home. Clomps on home means he is ready heavily with his heavy tired feet. He is going back home, and the cows and the farmers are all out of the picture. The speaker is also getting into the world of himself. So he has to share his growing darkness within him and as well as outside. Now, we shift on to the next 4 stanzas. It is a long poem and I have given you In fact, I shall go back, and here he has, I can show you that in the very 4 stanzas, he's make contractions to make number of syllables fit into iambic pentameter. The meter he's using in the entire poem is in iambic pentameter. So he is fixing his words, his, his stanzas into it, so as to create a kind of synchronization. And his rhyme scheme is AB, AB. Now, next lines or stanzas, we can say from 13 to 18, there are some important images, and the symbols are presented in the strength of elms. Elms are trees, we can say, and they are the signs, they are the graves as of death. And the comfort is provided by the yews. Yews are again trees which are shading the churchyard, which are providing shade to the churchyard. Here again he's talking about the tinkling bells, and the bells again on the which are hung on the neck of the cows, and they are mixing with the folds of fat on the cows' necks, and they're going into the barns. Now these sounds are very peaceful and sleepy as everything is winding up. Now again, literary devices in this lines too. Solemn stillness. Solemn is serious. It is a great example of alliteration. Alliteration means repetition of sound. And the speaker personifies the tinkling of the bells when he says that they are drowsy. Personification, he gives them voice. Now, we can say that in the next lines, the speaker tells the upper class that it must be, no doubt it may be sunset, the upper class are also going to sleep. They have, the aristocracy, their supremacy, and he's mocking at them because they may be superior, they may be, high ups from the lower classes, but they are all supposed to die. They have all, the death is the truth which everyone has to face. Now, from the lines from 45 to 76, he offers fundamental message of the poem. All people, even the poor, all people, even the poor, are born with equal natural capacities. Nobody is given, God does not at all show biasness, or he does not show, any kind of prejudices or partialities. So he offers the fundamental messages, and next, in lines 77 to 92, the speaker is touched by the shared humanity of the poor people. They share their grievances and even their happinesses. He shows the beauty in the misspelled spelling mistakes हैं, inscriptions in the tombstone, वो वाला पत्थर जो आपकी कब्र के ऊपर लगा होता है. Some unpolished, कई लोगों के पास इतने पैसे नहीं हैं that they can, get them polished. And consoling biblical verses, consoling, comforting biblical verses. And even the stones are poorly decorated, and they are shapeless sculptures. Matlab, they are not carved because the poor people cannot afford it. Now, next lines from 93 to 116 are transition. Transition, it is a change where Gray is addressing himself when he writes, "For thee who mindful the honored." So what is he doing? He is, kind of questioning his fate, and he is visualizing an old farmer who is termed as hoary-headed, and he describes the farmer's story as a man who does not fit in both the upper class as well as the lower class, who rests below the tree and watches the brook. Brook is the stream. Now, in the stanzas or in the epitaph, in the last 3 stanzas from the lines 117 to 128, the poet declares his grave is upon the lap of the earth. Lap of the earth, Tarti di Godij. He justifies his life as worthwhile as he was generous and sincere. He concludes his epitaph by stating the reader not to ask anything more about poets' vices and virtues, but leave it to God to decide. So we can say this poem is a culmination of his miseries or his contribution to literature of melancholy as well as the Churchyard school. Thank you. If you have any kind of comments or doubts or questions, please do ask me in the comment section. Thank you. I shall return back with more videos like in